When it comes to the pursuit of perfection, that really challenge all of us. I'm not even going to say most of us. All of us at some time or another are challenged by these two particulars that the Lord points out. Okay? First of all, in Matthew 5:38, again, you've heard it said, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you, resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn him the other also. If any man will sue thee at law, take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak. Whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, Brother Bailey preached on this, go with him twain. Verse 42, give to him that asketh thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn not away. You know what those verses are about. We learned this the other day. They're about retaliation. Retaliation. Now, let me ask you a question. Somebody does you wrong. Is it natural in the flesh to want to retaliate? Very natural, yeah. So if you want to see where you and I are at in the pursuit of perfection, ask yourself this question, okay? To yourself alone, nobody else to know. Who can you name that's done you wrong? Make sure the wrongs are real wrong. Not like childish wrong, but wrong. And then here comes, you ready? Here's the big ask. How did you respond? Did you fight fire with fire? Can I be honest with you? There's been times I have. Fought fire with fire. I didn't win. I didn't grow. I didn't mature. I surely didn't become more like Jesus. But when it comes to retaliation, because, man, it's so easy just to retaliate. And so this morning, if we want to test our pursuit of perfection, where it's at, we have to ask that, okay? Because everybody has somebody that's done them wrong, if you're over, 5. Ain't it crazy how kids are better at this than us? No, seriously, I'm being honest. Back here at Swing Set on an evening after church when they're playing together, they can have a squabble, like, over a toy or somebody swinging too long in the wrong seat, something like that. Big deal, life-changing stuff. They'll come back the next service and walk right up to each other and play with each other. Seriously. I mean, they like hug each other's neck and, how you doing? Look what I got. You want to play with it kind of deal, Adults don't. It ain't that easy for adults. We struggle a whole lot worse than they do with that kind of stuff, right? But the Lord said, hey, when it comes to retaliation, he said, I want you to be like me. If you look back and study the life of Christ, just doing your devotions in the Gospels, look at all the times he was wronged, lied about, falsely accused, mistreated. For what? What did he do wrong? Not one thing did he do wrong. Ain't this so uncomfortable to hear? I mean, should we just close and go home? Pursuit of perfection. He said, no retaliation. Number 2, watch this. Verse 43. You've heard that it's been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor, hate thy enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies. Bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you. Pray for them which despitefully use you, persecute you. Why? That you may be the children of your Father which is in heaven, for he maketh the sun rise on the evil and the good, sendeth rain on the just and the unjust. For if you love them that love you, what reward have you? Do not the publicans the same? And if you salute your brethren only, what do you more than others? Do not the publicans so. Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father is perfect. Again, Christ modeled that. So let me ask us all a question this morning. Who's my enemies and why? If you think you're here today and you have enemies, who are your enemies? You should probably write this down sometime. And why? It's a great question, again, because some people imagine enemies that are not there. By the Bible, Brother DJ, here's a real enemy. An enemy should be somebody that does one of the 3 things mentioned there. They curse you, they hate you, or they despitefully use you. Now, the question is, if you find that your enemies are biblically legitimate, let me ask you a question. How you responding? Jesus said to be perfect, we're to bless those that curse us. Love those that hate us. And pray for those that despitefully use us. Hey, I want to ask you a question this morning, friend. The Lord challenged me on this years ago. Hopefully you have got some way of, systematically praying for people. Do you have any of your enemies on that list that you pray for regularly? You really, if you don't, you should put them on there. And here's why. More for you than for them, because what will happen if you start praying for your enemy, you won't pray for them long and God allow bitterness to sit in your heart. He'll rid your heart of the bitterness, help get you to the place where you can actually love the people that don't love you back. Prayer forces us into that arena, okay? So ask yourself this question. Who, if I can say so-and-so is my enemy, are they prayed for? And listen to me close. I'm going to give you this, and I got to be done because we're running out of time this morning, okay? The common response of the modern Christian when it comes to dealing with issues like I just read off here this morning is this, when it comes to our praying for our enemies. We usually either pray one of two things. God, judge them. Give them what they deserve because they did me wrong. But what about what we deserve for doing him wrong? We don't think about that, right? So God, judge them, if you would. In a very God-like way, judge them. Or, Lord, remove them from my life. Now listen closely. I'm going to give you some real, it might taste bad, but it'll help you. It's like castor oil. Here it is. God never answers that prayer. Here's why. He's told us to pray for these folk. Well, how are we ever going to grow in our perfection, Brother DJ, if every time a little roadblock comes in, God removes it out of our life? God don't move us and God don't move them. You know why? He's changing us.